Some see Liu Kang as the stoic one and Lao as the snarky one. Others see Lao as stoic and Liu as the rebel monk with hair, and they're both wrong. These are complex characters, well, in my head they are, and both share elements of both extremes without falling into either one. That way you satisfy everyone.
In the end, we're all satisfied.
All the OG Kung Lao fanatics that want him to be the stoic monk he was presented as in his first appearances don't really realize what they're asking. If you have one monk who's the star, he's unconventional, he's the champion, he beats everyone, and then you have this other monk that was introduced later on who has no personality and does nothing. This is one of the few mistakes that Tobias made early on, and just because he made it doesn't mean we have to keep making it. Because Lao does absolutely nothing except pretends to die so he can come back and die for real in Deadly Alliance. No wonder NRS looked at the guy and thought, oh, this guy's shtick is dying? Say no more. Kung Lao is a newly introduced character who's also a Shaolin. Like, hey guys, I'm here too. And he's the descendant of this legendary warrior who's also named Kung Lao. And he's very calm and stoic like a monk should be, and he, helps the heroes out. Cool, so he's got no personality and does nothing. Gotcha. It's unbalanced. One character gets everything, the other gets to eat shit. Tobias created all this cool lore around the character so that he could do absolutely nothing with it. Don't get me wrong, Tobias is still the man, but Kung Lao is a character that both studios seem to have wasted. You all have that one person in your lives that never seems to be stressed, takes all bad news with a good attitude. They have this pleasing presence, you just want to be around them and your day's somehow automatically better for it. They just do stuff and have boundless energy and you're like, how? They always look like they're having fun. They have a glow to them. That's Liu Kang. That lightness of spirit also comes with some nonconformity. Liu has long hair, he doesn't respect all the monk's traditions, he has a much more pragmatic approach. He's a doer and a go-getter. He's that industrious friend of yours that always finds a way to do a million different things, meanwhile you're OCDing about which kind of knot to tie your shoelaces with. Lao, on the other hand, is still a 70-30 split between lawful and rebellious, but the other way. He makes a big deal out of tradition, family, legacy, conformity, but also has a very tempestuous temperament. He gets high-strung, frustrated, yells at himself, gets snarky with people. He's that other friend of yours who's very funny but acidic, antagonistic, sometimes a bit of a hater. He's choleric, he can't stop pointing out what's wrong with people and the world and making occasional humorous jabs about it. But if you look within the minds of these kinds of people, you realize it's not because they don't give a shit about the world, but rather that they give too much of a shit and express it in poor ways and it sabotages them. Is any of this familiar? Do you have any friends? No, blow-up dolls don't count. Of course, the most acidic part of his personality gets revealed gradually. Lao should go through a pretty significant arc that I outlined in more detail here. He presents himself as a pretty stoic, composed, driven monk at first, but gradually the various circumstances and enormous pressure put on him unravel him and reveal the snarkier bits underneath. So we have two characters that look pretty straightforward at a glance, but that are fairly complex and multifaceted underneath. Casting people to play these roles in this manner would be difficult because there's a lot that the actors need to output while keeping the characters cohesive and homogeneous. They're also designed to be a handful for each other. Liu has that natural talent and casual nature that Lao lacks, and Lao has the kind of perseverance that Liu needs to output to get through his gigantic trials, and also a sharp wit and stubborn nature that make it hard for Liu to get through to him. I envision Liu often getting verbally bullied despite being the more powerful one, with Lao owning his ass with all sorts of sick burns and Liu not having any comeback cause that's not his wheelhouse, and getting all mopey over it, but also taking it with his signature grace and humility. Taking it like a champ, pun intended. Liu is kinda like the first Hokage. He's ridiculously powerful, but so lighthearted and casual that he's not at all what you expect. Lao, on the other hand, is more of a Lenny from Shaman King mixed with Tenzin from The Legend of Korra, which is a mouthful, but so is he. Lao's got a bit of Bill Burr in him, the disgruntled citizen that notices the wrongs of the world and fixates on them, but also mixed with a stoic, spiritual, monk-like demeanor a la Shi Hang Yi. Have I mentioned this role would be tough to cast? It would be tough to cast. Lao lets even the little things secretly get to him, like why is Liu allowed to grow his hair out, and carries that with him until he finally blurts it out once, to which Liu is like, but did you ask the monks if it was okay to let your hair grow? Which makes Lao realize that, yeah, maybe he could have and that just annoys him even more. Lao is
someone who keeps fighting even though it's hard. That's who you are, Zuko.
One of the highlights of Lao's arc is figuring out if he really does care about family, legacy, tradition, and all that, or if it was just enforced on him and he had no choice, and that's why he's a little secretly embittered as a person. Liu, on the other hand, is a Boy Scout, as I outlined here, meaning that he doesn't go through a conventional arc. His challenge is to remain the good, noble hero that he is, without letting the world drag him down and corrupt him, which is increasingly hard to do later on, what with characters like Shinnok coming in and distorting Liu Kang's worldview. My Shinnok, anyway. Some powers and abilities stuff. Liu Kang has the fire of passion within him. Once again, he's the doer, the happy-go-lucky, the upbeat person, the encouraging one. His spirit is indomitable. Kung Lao is swift, hypercritical, sometimes nice, sometimes snarky, and a bit moody. So their respective elements befit them. But there's an extra element that they use, and this is pure power system stuff, not really part of the official canon. And that element is soul. Soul is matter given purpose. Flesh, bone, heat, water, air, along with, or guided by, will. By the mind. Everyone knows about soul stealing, it's part and parcel with Mortal Kombat, but given that one can manipulate and extract another's soul, it then makes logical sense that you could manipulate your own. And that's what Shaolin monks do. Well, MK's version of them. If one can manipulate their own soul, one could technically do anything they want with it. They could even shapeshift. Now, the monks aren't nearly as advanced, but all that meditating and connecting with their souls does make them far more resilient than your average fighter. They're stronger, they can take more punishment, they have resistance to poisons and shit, and have enhanced agility and speed. This power isn't flashy, just like a Jedi's use of the Force isn't flashy, but it absolutely makes Liu that much more dangerous of an opponent, and it should make Lao as dangerous too. Even though Liu's stronger, they should be in the same league. Much like the aforementioned Force from Star Wars, the purpose of this soul stuff would be to showcase proper and improper use of power. The Shaolin use their own souls and respect them, as well as the souls of other beings, by not training themselves to tamper with it, whereas soul stealers like Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn have no respect for either and take away as much of the energy of the universe as they can without giving anything back. Part of the reason why Liu Kang is so powerful is because of his mastery over his own soul. He can damn near arm wrestle a Shao Kahn, Cabal can't blindside him, Baraka can't pierce him, and Shang can't steal his soul, not without a serious fight. Or an ambush. And great effort must be made to clearly showcase Kung Lao as being in the same league without necessarily stealing Liu's thunder, although I wouldn't have minded if Lao stole Raiden's thunder in MK12 and became champion in his stead because get it? Because he's the god of... yeah. Roll credits. Special shout out to Longthorn and Serhi Hrishin for supporting the channel.
I always thought you would find your way back. I thought you had the strength.
Let's go again. I will show you.
Notice that I am ignoring you.